What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? What happened to the hikers at the Atl Pass? Was Atlantis real? Why did Ted Cruz commit the Zodiac murders? Who stole Dora's shoe? Who was Jack the Ripper? Who is the Loch Ness Monster? Who is cTom? Approximately 78 years ago, I made a review of one of the most convoluted movies I came across, and a movie that has since enjoyed a special place in my heart. Song of the Blind Girl was the welcoming window that opened to me an unorthodox world of perpetual conundrums ruled by an enigmatic monarch concealed from the public by a cape of infamy and intrigue. I vowed then to dedicate my remaining life's motivation to digging up cTom's cinematic legacy and try to uncover whether he is after all human, or simply a visitor from a triple star system roughly 4 light years away sent to Earth on a mission to explore advanced terrestrial life forms and establish communication between the two civilizations. cTom's potential real name is Tom Charley, and looking him up on IMDb does not make one stagger in disbelief by the sheer quantity of entries, as one perhaps would when visiting Dakota's IMDb profile. Yet, as most of us learn throughout our lives, a discontinued product doesn't necessarily imply the product's low quality. Just because cTom only ever released 6 movies and did so within the time span of 3 years doesn't automatically mean his movies are bad, but they are. In this case, it means exactly that. He only made and released 6 movies and stopped because he was shit at what he was doing.
No, that is a lot of money. I want that money. He cannot do this to me.
Come, daughter.
So after Song of the Blind Girl, I was able to track down the remaining 3 movies of the initial era of cTom's creative sprout, with the last 2 seemingly being non-existent, aside from appearing as these IMDb entries. Naturally, my initial plan after acquiring those remaining 3 was to watch them and make a review for each one. And so I did. Try. With The President Goes to Heaven being the first one on my list. Yet, halfway through writing that review, I realized I'm writing what basically was the same script I wrote for Song of the Blind Girl 94 years prior. The President contained a whole tome of troubling topics and an infantile attempt at social and political commentary, just like Song of the Blind Girl did. Putting the review on hold, I then over time watched the remaining 2 movies, Who Killed Aliyah and Lucy's Law. And guess what? Both those movies are also packed to the brim with literally everything going on in the world. cTom tackles basically every single major issue ever faced by humanity, and does so in 4 movies across 2 years. Unfortunately though, or luckily depending on how you view it, cTom's comprehension of ethics, politics, social issues, logical axioms, film theory, and the exhaustive process of filmmaking is rivaling the mental age level of a 6-year-old girl dressed as a princess having a tea party with an oversized raccoon at an abandoned and irradiated amusement park. It was as if an alien creature from a distant star system landed on Earth, gathered a bunch of information on the most horrid of controversies on our dear planet, and in an attempt to make some thought-provoking educational videos for his home world, just crammed everything he learned into a feature-length documentary, and then repeated that process 4 times in a row. And what better way to analyze cTom's movies than to watch all 4 at the same time? On a technical level, all of his movies look exactly the same. Reuse most of the non-actors and sets, are full of mistakes.
I apologize to you, Mr. Miller.
Court will adjourn for the weekend. The testimony will continue on Monday morning.
Now
the kids are grown and I'm retired and we have time, money, fame, and everything else we could ever imagine.
And are just horrendously written, directed, and edited.
My children and I want to visit Herbert and Marina.
No, for the millionth time, I'm telling you, you will never be allowed to visit them ever. Do you want to see your children again in your life?
I don't want a lesson in linguistics. I want this man charged.
Honorable First Lady, we will charge him with terrorism, anti-Semitism, possession of child pornography.
What? With boys?
I can see you haven't. Take your clothes off. Let me have a good look at you.
What?
As for the subjects cTom explores, the most common ones he approaches are religion, corruption, kidnapping, pedophilia, underage prostitution, rape, child pregnancy, abortion, with the most prominent one being anti-Semitism, doused in the notion of America being this fundamentally evil, opportunistic, corrupt, and warmongering country, which, to be fair, isn't too far from the truth. But what makes it stand out in cTom's vision is that it's even too little to say that cTom's movies are too much on the nose. They're just a blatantly obvious and shallow puddle of his pouring frustrations with no attempts at any subtlety, mystique, or intrigue, as if written by children for children.
Hi.
Hi,
My name's Edgar. What's yours?
I'm Lucy.
I haven't seen you here before. Are you just visiting?
No, I live here. I like to watch birds. Do you like birds?
Beside his prolific movie career, Tom also appears to be quite the fertile author with an abundant amount of books scattered all over Amazon. As with his movies, Tom writes about every topic on Earth, chief amongst them being once again religion, with alluring titles such as Mahabharata Simplified, Ramayana Simplified, Aliens of Mount Kailas,
Wink, wink.
Messiah the Son of God, Rama the Supreme God, Krishna the Supreme God, Pedophile Priest. Was Jesus black? Holy cow! What did Mark write? Reserve Bank of India. Knock knock, it's me, God. God who? While reading the synopsis for some of these, I came across an email address and tried my luck. As you might imagine, it just bounced back, so I naturally ended my investigation right then and there. I did, however, find a couple of articles by Joseph Flatley, who was able to get hold of a few actors from Tom's movies and interview them. There I found that Tom, even during filming, would often change both his phone number and email address, making him perennially unreachable. On top of that, further reading of the articles revealed Tom being an utmost master of etiquette. Lauren Cullum, who played Lucy in Lucy's Law, described the pleasant experience of working with Tom as, honestly, it was awful. He overworked us, didn't pay us, and acted like a crazy person. She continues then by joyfully remembering a hilarious anecdote where, after the shooting wrapped, Tom didn't have the money he promised Lauren, so while he was driving her to the airport for Lauren to catch her flight, they had a silly little misunderstanding. I said I wouldn't get out of the car until he paid. He drove off with me still in the car. He refused to drop me off at the airport, which resulted in me calling the police while still in the car with him. He kept circling the airport with 2 cop cars following us and me crying on the phone with the cops. Ah, what jolly old fun. Lauren also never received her money because the check Tom sent her afterwards obviously bounced. Professionalism was Tom's hallmark ever so present outside his set, so he would hold the castings at Wendy's and Burger King as a sophisticated filmmaker would. And beside being the cinematic and literary genius he is, Tom proved himself a marketing prodigy when he promoted the movie Who Killed Aliyah, starring the then 12 or 13-year-old lead Caitlin Coffey, by advertising the same underage actress as a porn star in order to gain as much attention as possible. All of this behavior clearly struck me as a bit odd. Since you're the main and only crew member of all of your movies, you wrote them, you're directing them, you're doing the cinematography, casting, editing, wouldn't you want to be polite to your actors? Well, I guess not if you're an alien from Proxima Centauri B who came to Earth in order to research the human species and behavior and therefore are completely out of touch with common courtesy and rudimentary communication etiquette of humans. And wouldn't that also explain why Tom would have such an immense interest in such a plethora of human topics? I mean, seriously, who writes a book titled Big Black Little Blonde unless they're a confused extraterrestrial?
Big black, little blonde.
That's when I started digging deeper and ever so deeper to try and find how Tom looks like, or more precisely how his human disguise might look like. Being as secretive as he is, it is a rather hopeless task to simply Google Tom and expect results. But worry you not, for if I have anything in life, 'tis an abundance of time and a worryingly severe lack of social commitments. So I started looking into his movies more closely and noticed that in the end credits of The President Goes to Heaven, we can see that Tom appears as a couple different characters. Unfortunately, those characters are never named during the movie, so you kind of just have to guess which one of them is him by using the refined FBI elimination method titled Which One Looks and Acts the Least Human. So I stumbled onto this suspect.
Where do you want this, Mr. President?
Put it right here. A little to the left there. That's fine. If I need anything else, I'll call you.
Which is seen again here. This apparition also appears at the beginning of Lucy's Law.
So this is where it all happened.
As well as at the end credit picture montage in Who Killed Aliyah. To confirm this being our extraterrestrial biological entity, I did some time traveling with the Wayback Machine and found a picture from the 2013 American International Film Festival in Michigan where Tom, apparently, somehow, won Best Picture for Song of the Blind Girl and Lucy's Law a year prior. And guess whomstest I found standing there right in the middle? The same exact human? But if we ground ourselves for just a minute, we all do know that Tom is just a dude. Fair enough, quite a bit weird around and with people, a bit eccentric, disillusioned, derealized, certainly excessively enigmatic and withdrawn, but still just a random dude with a questionable origin and life goal. And just like with Dakota's mansion, that realization of a moderately hyped up mystery simply being this quote-unquote normal thing is always a bit disappointing. Because there is that childlike yearning when finding about such mysteries that wants it to be this extraordinary exaggeration of life itself or an extraterrestrial extraterrestrial. I mean, wouldn't it have been absolutely fucking amazing if Tom turned out to actually be an alien from Proxima Centauri B, and upon learning of it, the FBI and CIA start this nationwide chase for him, and just like in ET, he's running away aided by a group of kids sitting in the front basket of a child's bicycle covered by a blanket. But just because Tom isn't the last remaining Atlantean doesn't make his legacy any less wondrous and perplexing. He still selfishly provided the low-budget film scene with 4 of the densest movies you can look for. Whatever mood you're in, whichever topic you're in the mood for, Tom's movies have them all, and a couple of those have an extremely high rewatchability value.
I want my mommy.
If you ask for your mommy one more time, I'll shoot you. Now go to sleep.
Today I have to go to a party. It's the bachelor party for Evelyn.
I told her no drinking. She said okay.
I haven't touched that stuff for 3 days now. I'm quitting. Cold turkey, Dad. Oh, this room stinks. Dad needs a cleaning. Why are they playing this documentary on TV now? I saw some of it yesterday. This is all they can talk about on TV after the World Leaks report. It is all junk.
I did intend to contact the author of those articles and see whether he has more info on Tom's current situation, but I decided that leaving a bit of secrecy to his name will enhance the charm of not knowing. So while we might never learn of Tom's true identity or what his true goal was, his cinematic heritage certainly stands the test of time and without a doubt ranks high up amongst the greats of the B and Z movies universe.